Hello everyone, I am Crawlers and this is another episode of Ridiculous Loadout. As you may already know, this is a series I started way back when in the Battlefield 3 days, basically pouring myself out for cheap views, running a suggested loadout from one of you in the comments section. Now, mostly, this is a not so tactical series where most of the loadouts are either troll or bad or just plain ugly looking. Really, I get a chance to try out a kit, a combination that I haven't thought of before, and maybe have good results with it. Mostly not though. So, this time a suggestion comes from Riker Thompson, who suggests a medic class loadout of the Scar Age with a hollow sight, a green laser sight, no barrel attachment, and an ergo grip. He says because he likes to fire on the move, and the ergo grip helps you with the ADS spread while moving, I believe. Also, he suggested I use the M1911 with any sight, and yes, I use the suggested Delta sight, no barrel attachment, and the RGO grenades, or flares, which I regrettably equipped, a medic box, and the defib pedals. So, the real FN Scar is a cool assault rifle made by FN Herstal in Belgium for the United States Special Operations Command in several variants. For example, the L is a light variant, obviously, firing the 5.56 round, and the H is a heavy variant running on the 7.62 round. There's a few other variants too, like the PDW and the sniper support rifle too, and this is really a cool rifle all around in real life. However, I'm not exactly sure why, but I didn't have a lot of fun with this loadout in Battlefield 4. I'm pretty sure it wasn't the kid's fault, as everyone seems to, swear by this Scar Age, but instead I think it was my fault mostly. Maybe it was, the pretty bad team. I could always blame it on the team, I guess, that I had to work with, where no one seemed to do any support actions. I mean, medics didn't revive, and support guys didn't drop ammo, and so it's been an uphill battle all the way, and it admittedly made me rage quit a couple of times, but, let's just that be our little secret. On the other hand, the Scar Age isn't a perfect gun for all situations, so maybe I used it wrong at the time. I mean, it's got some pretty obvious limitations. It's got, for example, one of the lowest overall rates of fire for any assault rifle, and by far the slowest muzzle velocity of any assault rifle, making it have some pretty obvious and serious drawbacks over, faster firing ones. Obviously, especially, in close quarters, where coming up against a dude with an 800 RPM assault rifle is gonna spell death every time. All this and a much higher than the usual 5.56 assault rifle vertical recoil, and I suppose it's there to balance the extra stopping power of the 7.62 round fired by the Scar Age. And worse still is that the extra beefy round and the smaller magazine of only 20 rounds means you only have 4 spare magazines, or just over 80 rounds if you count the one in the chamber, as opposed to somewhere in the neighborhood of 120 rounds for the other assault rifles. So immediately you are at a disadvantage. So if your teammates are assholes and they don't throw down ammo boxes. This, by the way, was the reason I equipped the offensive field upgrade, which in its second tier unlocks the extra magazine storage space, or extra pockets on your jacket, I guess, bringing the total number of rounds for the Scar H back into the 120 territory. So, obviously, it's not the best overall assault rifle for going head-to-head in close quarters, as I said, because of the rate of fire and the muzzle velocity. But it's also not going to be very easy to use over distance because, it's a slow bullet and it will mean a greater travel time to the target, which means it will probably have moved by then and, you will probably miss. And obviously, leading becomes a problem, especially with the high vertical kick and first shot multiplier. This isn't doing anyone any favors. So to get technical with the Scar H, it does a maximum damage of 34 at 8 meters, which drops off to 25 at 55 meters, which, by the way, is much higher than the standard 556 damage model in Battlefield 4. In fact, the Scar H's lowest damage over distance is the same as a 556 assault rifle's damage up close. It's that powerful. It also has a 410 meters a second muzzle velocity, which is the lowest among assault rifles, and the 620 rounds per minute rate of fire, which is also the second lowest RPM among assault rifles. As I said, the Scar H also has a much smaller than usual magazine in Battlefield 4 of only 20 rounds, which it will reload in 1.9 seconds for the short reload and 2.4 seconds for the long reload. It also has the highest per shot vertical recoil of 0.5 among assault rifles, which interestingly enough it shares with the AR-160, Beretta's assault rifle, the latest one that we got in the DLC. Now its hipfire spread is pretty big, so putting a laser on it won't really improve matters that much. And by the way, since I am not sure the exact numbers that the laser does to improve the hipfire accuracy, I won't be posting them here. Suffice it to say, it's around the 33% improvement to the hipfire spread. So, the Scar H also has the second highest per shot spread increase, the gold medal going to the FAMAS per shot spread increase of 0.13, of course, and also has a slower than usual idle recoil reset time of only 12 degrees per second, as opposed to 18 degrees per second for every other assault rifle, except the L85A2, which has a discouraging 4 degrees per second idle reset time. So now let's talk about my sidearm, the M1911. The M1911 hits like a dump truck, just as the Scar H does, doing a maximum damage of 36.6 at 8 meters, which drops off to 15.4 at 40 meters. It has a pretty healthy upwards per shot recoil of 0.6, and thankfully only 1 as the first shot multiplier. Its muzzle velocity is 270 meters a second in Battlefield 4, which is the second lowest muzzle velocity only after the Compact 45. And it has a rate of fire which is very middle of the pack at 310 rounds per minute. It has a pretty good reload speed of 1.2 seconds for the short reload and 1.28 seconds for the long reload. So, overall it's a great pistol, but for some reason the sound it makes in Battlefield 4 feels a little weird. Not sure if it's just my setup, but it feels a little too metallic, almost like a scraping or something. I also think that such a pistol deserves more than the shitty looking Delta sight on it. I think the iron sights look good enough. The add-ons just spoil it. Less is more, I think, in this situation. Another thing that, for me personally, spoils this setup is a total lack of explosives to throw at people. I'm stuck here with the flares, and sometimes I forget I have them and throw them at people, and we both get this, almost this question mark over both of our heads that you can sort of see in the game, like, WTF are you doing? Might as well be flinging my feces at them. Frankly, this is not a good use, and I don't see a need for the flares in any situation. Maybe to blind the enemy's flare scopes, but that's about it. No real tactical advantage this. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Ridiculous Loadout, and now because I don't feel like suffering alone, Riker must also run this loadout and upload it to YouTube, and I'll accept the link down below in the comments section. So thanks for watching. Please rate and share this video as it helps my channel grow. Check out my other videos at the end of this one, and remember, in Soviet Russia, YouTube subscribes you.